to the Nerd Effect News Show. We are on episode 14. I am one of your nerd anchors, Dustin Vancouver, joined by my buddies
Malcolm Morgan,
Mason Ireland.
J.K. Prendle.
Yay! Hey guys, we're back to full force. How's it going?
I missed you guys. So
How you guys
bad.
been? How you guys been?
I've been crying myself to sleep on Sundays.
Oh.
Not really. That's a lie. I'm sorry for lying.
You don't really listen to the
That was a
show
lie, too.
outside of the recordings, do you?
No, but you told me that you guys were making fun of me and my lizards.
Yeah, because we told them that pretty much everything, what was it? Devolves into basically a kitty.
I like reptiles on their own accord. Just fine, thank you. I'm going to be getting one when I have my own place. It's gonna happen.
Bearded
gonna
dragon.
Yeah, I really want a Beardy. I still can't decide if I'm gonna name it Bowser or Trogdor.
Trogdor would be fun.
I know. That's because, and they also have really good themed tanks that go along with them. So I could do like a Mario themed tank for Bowser. And then for Trogdor, I could do like a castle and some thatched roof cottages for him to burn and eat.
Yes.
Haven't decided yet.
Oh,
I know.
Or you can get two. I mean, bearded dragons aren't hard to take care of.
you're encouraging her.
But then how would I
Yes.
decide what theme to make the tank?
You get two different tanks.
I don't want two different tanks. That's a lot of space. And a lot of electricity.
You can just change the theme once a year.
No, what you do?
Take turns.
No. You have it. You have the theme morph, so it goes from like Trogdor the Burninator on the right to Mario Castle
style
on the left.
thatched roof cottages.
Yeah, and then up to to a Mario Castle on the left.
Oh my god, this is gonna happen. Mario and Trogdor. Or Bowser and Trogdor.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
gonna be
I was
glorious.
thinking of getting them. This is an inside joke for just a few people. Some of you who are listening may get it, most won't. I was gonna get a bearded dragon and call it Kier.
Nah.
I don't get it.
I'll explain later.
Okay. But, yeah, it was really cool. And there was a caiman, like, just chilling in some guy's lap. Like, it was a fucking pocket dog. Like, we walk in the room, this guy's sitting in a chair, texting on his phone with a caiman in his lap. Like, an adult caiman. Which,
Why is it that big animals still think they're little animals?
I don't know, but these things are supposed to be really aggressive, but it turns out this one is just, like, a fluke. And she's been doing these workshops for 12 years.
Yeah.
She's still a little crazy. Like, she had a flip-out moment. And we weren't allowed to actually touch her.
Just
but-
in case.
Yeah. And then there was like an 11-foot ball python, Burmese python albino, and he was just like roaming the rooms, and his name's James, and he pooped twice, and it made cartoon fart noises. It was really funny. Like, we were watching really quiet documentaries on like frogs, and all of a sudden it was just... It was great. Yeah. But it was really fun. I made snaky friends. So many snakes.
Yeah, that albino python was pretty cool.
I like him. And then he decided that he wanted to be in a tiny duffel bag. And he
Okay.
crammed himself in it because he's a snake.
Yeah.
And he can.
If it fits, he sits?
It was exactly. And if I'd gotten a better picture of it, I would have captioned it that. But my picture turned out blurry because I was across the room.
Oh.
But yeah, he was just like in this tiny, like backpack-sized duffel bag. Not very big. 11-foot python.
Yeah, but they can ball up really tight.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
can. And it was fucking adorable.
Little head poking out.
Yeah. He's just like,
Hi,
hey
guys.
guys, how's it going? I'm just gonna do snake stuff. I don't know what this was. I was Zoidberging for some reason.
Zoidberging. That's got to be a thing now.
It is.
It's the new YouTube meme.
Officially a thing.
Maybe that's what we need to do is Zoidberg.
No.
No.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sorry I mentioned it.
But I'll say though, I do like the idea of the bearded dragon pets though. I really have kind of wanted one for a while.
Right? We should get friends. And you
And-
can name yours one thing and I'll name mine another.
And because I like it when they get threatened. They all pop up and they're like, I'm
Oh,
big
I
and
know.
mean, really.
Look how scary I am with my big black beard thing that got darker when you frightened me.
Roar.
Roar, I eat bugs sometimes.
Yeah.
Grr, arg.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
No, I think the
adorable.
mutant enemy zombie is actually a little more frightening.
Yeah, no, they're supposed to be really good pets. Like, one of the
Yeah.
things that they told us, which, by the way, if anyone's thinking you can get a reptile for their child, don't buy a fucking iguana. Just don't.
No.
And I know this from experience, because I had neighbors. I had 2 iguanas. One of them was a good, what would you say that is, 3 feet?
That's 3.5, 4 feet.
Yeah. And that was the female, whose name was Isaac, because they thought the big one was the male. And then Lily was the little one and male. And they didn't have an enclosure big enough for them, so they let them run around loose in one of the bedrooms. Which meant when the family would go out of town and I would pet sit, I would be scraping lizard shit off the walls.
Yeah.
The lizard would oftentimes go into the closet and be in there, and they really didn't want it in there because it would poop on their clothes.
Yeah.
But it was like one of those accordion door closets, and it knew how to open it.
Yeah.
So it would go in there, and I don't know if you've ever tried to move a 3.5-foot angry iguana. They have really sharp claws. They're prone to biting. They whip you with their tails, and they're very aggressive.
And strong, by
And
the way.
strong, yeah. And, I mean, I was 12, manhandling this giant iguana that did not want me there.
Yeah.
And it was awful. And so one of the things they said, they're like, we don't know why people keep buying these as pets. They're horrible pets. Like I said, super aggressive, bitey, whip you with their tails,
Yeah.
scratch you with their giant ass claws. Yeah.
And they're not little claws.
They're not little claws. They are big, sharp, curvy claws.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous animals, and if you want one because you think that reptiles are cool and you just want to observe it, that's fine. If you want to pet
Make sure you have a cage big enough.
exactly, make sure you have a giant ass
Buy a
cage.
male. They're smaller.
Yeah, and that's fantastic that you want to, give a home to an animal that you just enjoy watching, not expecting it to interact with you like a kitty or a dog.
Because lizards are not terribly
They're
interactive
not
pets.
kitties. However, bearded dragons
Yeah.
enjoy hanging out with kitties.
Yeah.
Putting that out there.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Nikki's Reptile Corner.
I wasn't done, but it's fine.
Oh.
Oh,
no,
I was
Oh,
going to
wait.
say. Well,
No,
I was
it's
gonna,
fine. It's totally
I was
fine.
Gonna
We're
have
done.
Sorry, I apologize. Please
one of my
proceed.
friends back in California, Mike, got different Mike than the Mike that is on the show because this Mike is in Idaho. This other Mike is in California. And spells his name
Mind blown.
Yeah, and this spells his name Mykal.
No.
Yes.
No.
It's Mikhail.
And he for a long time he had an iguana named Keela because there was a bottle of tequila involved in the decision to buy her. And
I love it.
yeah, needless to say, he was on the bottom end of the bottle when she was purchased. And
There should be a no drinking and buying pets law.
there probably should, yeah.
I'd imagine that's how most tiger purchases are made.
That's just arrogance, I think.
Yeah, that too.
And maybe cocaine, because people that buy tigers are generally fairly wealthy. So,
And out of their fucking minds.
yeah, we're not talking
you're
like
probably
crack
right.
rock cocaine here. No, we're talking the good refined shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for about 9 months, because I lived with Mike for a while when I was down in California still, we had, our third roommate, Keela. And he had a cage for her, but we did let her out fairly often.
Yeah, I used to want to exercise them.
Yeah. But it was always funny whenever we'd let her out of her cage. Well, we'd open the door and she'd just sit there and be like, huh? For a little while. And then she'd actually figure out, oh, I'm allowed out of my cage right now. And she'd get out of the cage. And then you could kind of do, the way our house was built, from Mike's room, you could do laps through the hallway to the living room, back into the kitchen, into one of the bathrooms, and then back into Mike's room. And she'd sit there, for a little bit, and she'd, kind of start to walk out into the living room, see what we were doing. And then she'd just tear around the house doing laps for, 20 minutes. And then she'd come up and, she'd climb up onto the back of the couch and, sit there and, watch movie or, play video games with us, whatever, Because, we were rocking out, the Sega. And she would sit there and watch us play video games or sit there and watch a movie with us. And then, Mike would get up and she'd look at him and, he'd go into the room and rattle the cage door and she'd actually go back in.
What kind of was this?
It was an iguana.
An iguana?
She was pretty
Interesting.
chill.
That is really chill. And normally, part of why I want a beardie is they actually are interested in interacting with people.
Yeah.
If they're the ones in the pet shop that when you walk by their cage, they're actually watching you to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's appealing. I've never heard of an iguana doing that.
Yeah, she was really chill. After, super lizard freakout time.
Yeah. Super lizard freak out time.
She was just kind of chill. She would just kind of hang out. But
have energy to burn.
she was
Like a toddler, just let her run until she's done.
Yeah, pretty much. What do you call a baby lizard anyway? Baby lizard?
I guess.
Okay.
I'm sure there's actually a word for it. I just don't know it yet.
Yeah,
Lucy?
but when she was a little baby, she was like 2 months or something
Hatchling?
like that. A hatchling. There you go. She was like a 2-month-old hatchling. When Mike got her, so she grew up to an adult around us. Mm-hmm. So she was kind of used to us.
Yeah. And I have read that getting them as babies, they're more likely to be more tame.
Yeah.
What I kind of want to do is the Herpetological Society of Idaho actually rescues lizards and then rehomes them.
Nice.
And so I think I want to try and get one that way. So I got like a year because Ange is not a member of the Scales Are Fuzzy 2 club.
Oh.
So
Scales are fuzzy too.
they are. Scaly critters can be beautiful and interesting too, and I want one. So anyways, Rochambeau for news?
Yes.
Yes. Kai Bai Bo.
Oh shit, you
damn.
guys took me out.
Kai Bai Bo.
Oh, Mason's up.
If you're gonna screw us all, Mason, you should buy us dinner first.
Nah.
I don't know what that voice was. I wanted to punch myself.
The creepy pedophile voice.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't it? Sorry, guys.
So, now on to a less light subject. There was a bill that has unfortunately now passed in Indiana called SB 101. Go look it up.
Does it stand for son of a bitch by chance?
Yeah, I think SB is son of a bitch 101.
Or simply bullshit.
Oh, I like that one better.
Yeah, basically, okay, the proper term is Senate bill, but I like, the other one's
Simply
better.
bullshit.
Simply bullshit is much better. It is a quote-unquote religious freedom bill allowing discrimination against homosexuals.
Because you know what? If there's one thing Christians are lacking in this country, it's,
rights.
freedom and rights.
Yes.
Sorry. I have a lot of respect for, people that have religion and are into that, but I'm not Christian, so why should you be able to decide my life?
Yeah.
Because separation of fucking church and fucking...
Right.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Continue.
So, on the brighter side of this, Gen Con LLC, Gen Con, the biggest gaming convention in the world, period, end of subject.
The one Libby goes to. Hi, Libby.
Yes. That Gen Con. The one that has been that started out up in Wisconsin, in Lake Geneva, and has since then moved down to Indianapolis, Indiana. Well, they wrote a letter.
Strongly worded letter.
Very strongly worded letter. It involved things like numbers of attendees and the amount of countries they come from, states they come from, which is all 50, by the way. Approximately 40 countries. And the fact that the Gen Con last year hosted 56,000 attendees. That does not include staff or special guests or vendors.
Or volunteers. If
Or
that counts as
that
staff.
was staff. So, and as a lot of us out there in the Nerd Effect community know and understand that, well, yeah, there are gamers of all types. There are different ethnicities, cultures, beliefs, sexual orientations,
What?
gender identities,
Not those gays.
socioeconomic statuses, and differing abilities. And you know what? I say we're all gamers. Cool, good on us.
Except for those guys on the other end of Call of Duty yelling faggot at everybody.
They're part of the problem.
They're part of the problem, not part of the answer. And there are gamers who are part of the problem still, too. But,
Like those gays, you guys, am I right?
no.
And
I have plenty of gay gamer buddies, and they're all
I'm
awesome.
actually genuinely concerned that someone's going to listen to this, not know that I'm gay, and think that I was being serious.
Well, there's your disclaimer.
Yeah, I know. That's why I did it. That's why I did it.
So, Gen Con LLC actually has been for quite a while based out of Seattle. However, the Indianapolis Convention Center, the big convention center in Indianapolis, actually a couple of years ago, or last year, I can't remember what it was, but they actually expanded the size of the convention center specifically for Gen Con at a not unsubstantial cost. It was a millions of dollars expansion specifically to allow Gen Con to grow. And then the governor of Indiana, whose name is, let me look.
Captain Dickhole.
And I imagine also to make it more appealing for other cons to show up at the same venue.
Yes. Captain Dickhole, who also goes by Republican Governor Mike
Nope.
Pence.
He doesn't get a name. He's Captain Dickhole.
Well, that's his real name, but he has
I
that
don't
alter
care.
identity.
Yeah.
I am Captain Dickhole!
So, yeah.
And his sidekick, Urethra.
Urethra boy. Holy. Captain Dickhole.
Anybody else imagining the end of a penis just talking?
I am now. And they don't like it.
Little cape wrapped around there.
Get some of that eyeball tape and slap it.
There's so much wrong. So much wrong with this conversation. I thought I had taken it over the line. Mike, one step further.
You know he's always gonna
Oh,
like you
God.
draw that line and you like poke a pinky toe over it. Mike's just like full on pole vaulting over it.
I think we were
like,
talking about that pre-show. For those who
Yeah.
don't know,
There is
there's
tape that is basically sticky eye tape. So instead of being like a googly eye, like you stick onto something, it's like tape that has eyeballs on it.
Googly eyes would be pretty funny too.
Yes. Shake it around and then maybe move. Yeah, no.
Hey, honey, check this out.
Not okay.
Not okay.
Nope.
So Gen Con had, before the bill was passed, wrote a letter to the governor explaining that, all of these attendees and from all over the world bring in about $50 million a year into the Indiana economy. Mm-hmm. And they went and signed the bill anyway. And Gen Con very bluntly stated, if you do this, we're going to move Gen Con.
Maybe Gen Con's gonna be closer to us.
Maybe. It's going to go to a big city. It's got to be a big city with big infrastructure.
Well, if they're based in Seattle.
Seattle's a good possibility, but Seattle also already has Emerald City and PAX.
Fucking Emerald City.
Just happening this weekend, and I'm jealous of everybody
Fucking
that's
Emerald
there.
City.
So it would be, and also PAX and Gen Con generally both happen within a month of each other. So that would be hard.
Beefy.
Plus, there's also the fact
Come
that
from a place called KENNEWICK. Hey, move to Pasco. No?
No.
If you see me at PAX, come up and say hello.
Is MC Chris in it,
Nothing?
or
No, it's Beefy.
Yeah, it's Beefy.
Oh.
That's what I said. Name is Beefy.
Oh, I didn't hear that
But-
part. Sorry.
Fine.
I heard the Kennewick spelling, and that was.
yeah.
Every
yeah.
time I see Kennewick on an order, I think that, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's going to move to a big city. That's a given. And the fact that it's always been a somewhat centrally located con in the U.S.
You know what? And we know that
geographically, I'm gonna bet that Chicago
I was
is probably
just
going
gonna
to
say
be
Chicago.
a good con.
Which Angie's brother-in-law has family in Chicago who love me. So if they do
Nice.
move it to Chicago.
Detroit could use the money. I bet they'd get a good deal there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go.
If you feel like getting mugged on a regular basis. Then. God, I'm sorry. Did I just put that out there for Detroit? Detroit, I'm sorry. That was horribly stereotyped by my part.
Nerd Effect Podcast does not endorse any of the statements
No.
previously made by Dustin Vancouver.
I don't even endorse my own statement. I apologize. That's fucked
So,
up.
You didn't stick that landing at all,
No, I
buddy.
did not.
No. But
But Chicago would be good.
Chicago would be a good one. Yeah.
Judging you.
Yeah. So Chicago would be a good bet, but it's going to be, I'm glad that a very large,
I'm glad they stuck
very-
by their word.
well, hopefully they're sticking by their word. No one's heard otherwise yet, but I'm pretty sure that this Gen Con is probably already too late to move. So I'm going to bet that the 2015 Gen Con is going to be
Yeah, you're probably right.
in Indianapolis, just simply because it's probably too late to move it. And they do have an agreement that goes till 2017 or 2020, I can't remember which one, with the place, but I'm sure they have legal recourse to break it because of this stupid rule.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But yeah,
They could claim religious freedom.
yeah. And yeah, so
That would be pretty funny, actually. I
Yes,
kind of
it
hope they
would.
do that. Be like, oh, really? Really, bigots? Well, suck it. We're taking our money and leaving.
yeah. And the problem is that it's not everyone in Indiana who thinks this way.
No, I know.
And it's going to hurt people who don't think this way. But if we don't take a stand as relatively large communities against the hatred and bigotry, people are going to start thinking they can get away with it again.
Here's the problem, is that the majority of people that actually get out and vote are
Old white people.
old white people. Young people really like to rally about things.
But then they never go to the
And
polls
then,
afterward.
we really love to rally. We really like to write strongly worded articles, letters to the newspaper, wearing T-shirts with political statements on them. But for some fucking reason, like I actually saw a statistic on voter turnout, and I don't remember what it was, but it was something where I was like, "Are you guys kidding me? Like,
Oh, no, it's
ridiculous."
Yeah.
Like if everyone who said that they cared actually showed up and voted, which I'm sorry, it took me 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah, no.
I
Like,
don't
especially here in a state like Idaho,
Yeah.
you walk into your polling place, you're maybe waiting 5 minutes for a booth
Yeah.
to open up. Like
And
the last
we
time
have
I went,
the most things that need to change. Like our education system, our fucking jackass governor.
like
sorry, I was
last
not
time
Shit just got political, yeah.
the last like just for example, the last election cycle,
I don't even want to talk about it.
my dad and I went to vote together. Now, mind you, my dad and I are pretty much political opposites,
Me too.
but we both fervently believe that you have to go vote,
Yeah.
because if you don't vote, your voice is null in the system. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things people got to remember, is that you can be passionate and you can go to rallies and you can write strongly worded letters. You can spout your opinions on podcasts or blogs or vlogs or whatever.
Put your fucking
But
money where your mouth is.
Put your money where your mouth is and go vote. Because if you're not voting, you cannot change the system.
The beauty of it, you don't even have to put money in your mouth. It's free.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
Well, $15 every 4 years to get your ID.
my dad and I
But-
have very
No.
staunchly opposite opinions too. Like, he was...
At least in the state of Idaho, fuck them.
I was at his house and I said something about like, oh, did you see about net neutrality?
Yeah.
And he starts yelling at me about how net neutrality is a bad thing.
No.
And I'm just like, okay, you're really super wrong, but I don't remember the details of it well enough to convince you that you're wrong, so I'm leaving now because I don't want to fight with you. Bye, Mom, love you. And I just left. He's like, you're wrong. I've been voting since... His standard argument is, I've been voting since before you were born.
That's not a good
I
argument.
know. I'm like, that doesn't mean shit because things are not good right now.
It just means they're archaic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel you on the
Yeah.
lovely joys of politics and family.
Yeah. No, but well, my dad and I when we went down to vote together, we didn't talk about who we were
Yeah,
voting for.
I can't talk to my dad about
it's
stuff like
simply the fact that my dad and I, even though we're on totally different ends of the spectrum, both fervently believe that you
Yeah.
have to go vote.
Absolutely.
And
If you don't, people like fucking jackass Otter get
elected by old white people.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So political message is get out and vote. And the thing is that
Reptiles are great. Indiana's dumb.
Indiana's dumb, and Gen Con is awesome for hopefully moving.
Angie's List is also boycotting Indiana. I believe
yes,
they were going to
Angie's
expand
List
there,
is also boycotting Indiana because
they had a big expansion planned, and now
like
they're not.
major office buildings and everything there. It wasn't going to be just like we're
They were
expanding our
creating
services in
a
your
lot of
area.
jobs.
Yeah, they were going to move in like offices and have support staff and stuff there, and now they're not.
That's a lot of jobs that aren't going to be getting created because
Yeah.
an asshole got elected and made stupid decisions, and the people backed him up.
We know they ain't moving it here because our state is equally as.
You know what? Though,
If not more.
The Treasure Valley is an oasis of liberalism.
Of relative liberalism.
Relative liberalism amidst the
Except for the
douchey desert of backwards thinking old people.
douchey desert.
I don't know. I love
like
Idaho. I wish that Idaho loved me back.
So, I mean, and the thing about like Idaho is that, when people will talk about the natural beauty of Idaho, they're not kidding. There's
No.
a lot of beauty in this state.
Like I have a lot of friends that
But-
moved and were like, "Why don't you just move someplace else?" I'm like, "Because I fucking love it here."
But there's a lot of beauty in Washington. There's a lot of beauty in Oregon. There's a lot of beauty in
California.
Colorado.
Yeah, it's not the
In
same.
California.
Yeah.
Though. Not the same.
It's a different.
a different
I
kind of
prefer Washington, Oregon, and California.
See, and I prefer Idaho.
But that is because I grew up on the coast,
And I grew up here.
I love that sound of the ocean. I love the feeling of the salt water. I love the smell of it in the air.
This is going to sound really weird,
But-
but when I go someplace that doesn't have mountains like that and it's flat, or when it's foggy here and I can't see the mountains, I get weirdly claustrophobic. You'd think it would be the opposite, but it's like I feel like the sky is just like coming down on me.
Right.
I don't know why, but like it's uncomfortable to me not having big mountains around and stuff. So I'm jingly. I should take this off.
Oh wow, that is jingly.
Yeah.
That's a really long bracelet.
It's those really wicked sweet wrap ones, and I got bells for enclosures because I didn't think about it, and it's kind of annoying, but I really like it, so I wear it anyway.
But it looks cool. So
It
there
does
you
look
go.
cool, right?
Yes.
Wicked sweet cool.
So yeah. So anyway, yeah. Go Gen Con for taking a stand.
Yay, Gen Con, we love you.
Yep.
Thanks for loving me back.
Yeah. I'll say yet another reason to go besides being nerd mecca of the world.
Yeah, no shit, right? And you could watch Libby belly dance, because her belly dancing troupe usually does shows at Gen Con.
Awesome.
They did one where they dressed up as the Justice League.
Sweet.
Well, like Justice League inspired belly dancing costumes.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, there's more colors. Anyways, my turn.
Your turn.
So, some of you may have heard the story already or read it because Dustin posted it on the Nerd Effect page after I called dibs on it.
I
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just recycled news. I try not to
I will
share
be
news.
sure to read the
Well,
news ahead of time before I actually
I mean,
post something.
you should.
That's
I
the
do.
time. It's not like I click all the.
But you could pay attention to what the stories are. I do.
Most of the news links say what is the story.
Sorry.
Anyways,
probably
if you
Oh,
Oh, by the
missed
way,
it,
this part of tonight's fun is making Dustin feel like a douche.
I'm mostly just giving you shit, but I'm kind of sad because there's been several times that I've almost shared stories you guys already called dibs on, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So it's fine. No need to return the favor. Dude, I'm a lady. I may be Nikki-ish, but
Nikki-ish.
I'm still pretty good at passive-aggressive shit when I want to be. I learned from my mother, who's very skilled.
Skilled in the art of passive aggression.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, so science, you guys.
More science. Woo!
Fucking science, right?
Yes.
Am I right? High five for science. Yeah!
Yay, I got a science on.
You got a hadron?
Oh!
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Parallel universes, bitch!
For those of you that aren't friends with me in real life, I've finally embraced that science is my true calling and am gonna change majors to a totally different area because I hate myself and free time. Yes, science! But so, scientists have figured out how to give us night vision.
God bless him.
Right? And not to mention, this guy looks like he got some of the black oil from the X-Files on his face in this picture.
Yeah, the picture's pretty sweet.
It's pretty
It's
freaky.
creepy. It's like a cross between...
He looks like he's infected with the black oil from X-Files.
but also kind of there's enough shine that it's almost like Riddick's eye shine.
Almost.
I think that's what they compare it to.
But he looks a little freaky. But so a team of biochemical researchers in the United States has figured out how to give a human volunteer night vision, allowing him to see across a distance of over 50 meters. I thought it was feet. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's even better. In total darkness for several hours. So it's a light-sensitive substance called chlorin E6, which is derived from sea creatures. And I actually meant to research that because I'm curious where they get this.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like deep sea creatures who need to
that's
be able
what
to
it
see in
is.
the dark. Yeah.
Light deprived.
Yeah.
Deep sea creatures.
It's been used for cancer treatment research for a really long time, but it's also been shown to be effective in the treatment of night blindness, which interests me because I have really poor vision at night. And improving dim light vision in people with eye disorders. So these guys decided, hey, let's mix it with some saline and inject it into this dude's... Oh, no, sorry, insulin.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's insulin and saline. Okay, so they found out that if you mix it with saline, your eye will absorb it.
Right.
And they also found out if you mix it with insulin, your eye will absorb it. So they're like, hey, you know what? Let's mix it with both. So it's like sugary salt going into this guy's eye.
It's sweet and salty.
Yeah, for my eyeballs. They also, that's just a substitute chemical. Basically, they're like, hey, let's try this out. So the guy that is in the picture is actually one of the researchers, and he volunteered for it. And so they have one of those torture-looking devices that hold your eye open.
Oh,
a
yeah.
speculum.
Speculum.
A speculum.
Fuck those. I hate that.
Don't even start with me. You have no idea. They had a speculum, and they held his eye open, and they rinsed it out to make sure there was no crap in his eye that other than the crap they were going to put in it.
Right.
And then they did that so that he wouldn't blink out the liquid, and they used a micropipette at 3 doses at, I don't know what that measurement actually is.
That's microliters.
Microliters, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. So 50 microliters in each eye, 3 doses of that in each eye.
So 150 microliters total per eye.
Yeah, per eye. But after each application, they let it absorb it, obviously. So apparently, the black color disappears after a few seconds, which I find ridiculously disappointing.
Yeah.
But
I had to run around with good night vision and my eyes shine.
yeah, exactly. But so basically, it makes you just really, really, really fucking light sensitive. So they have to wear sunglasses to ensure that it doesn't damage
Does
their
anyone
eyeballs.
else hear an 80s song coming on? Because I do.
Or
I wear my sunglasses at night.
well, no, they wear them in the day though because they can see fine at night. I'm sorry to ruin it, but it's true.
Party pooper.
I know. But so they put him in this room with 4 other people that didn't have the stuff in their eyes, and they basically had shapes and letters and objects and shit, and they moved it progressively further away.
I thought it was people they were using.
Well, they did that later.
Oh.
You gotta steal my news again? Like while I'm in the middle of telling it? No, it's fine.
Throw my bottle at you.
It would be loud. So he ended up being able to read letters and symbols at over 50 meters away in pitch black.
Yeah.
Which is really hardcore. Because I don't think I could read something like up against my face in pitch black. And he could even identify people moving. So he said that the objects are about the size of his hand. So then, the next night, they went out into the woods with the controls, and they had everyone at separate locations, and they were asked to try and spot people standing 50 meters away out in the woods. And he apparently had 100% accuracy, whereas the other people just had a third of the time.
Right.
So it's really cool, and they said it's been, as of this article being written, it was, I think they said 20 days, and they haven't seen any adverse effects. Obviously, that's the kind of thing they're going to want to wait on to see before they, because who knows what can happen from this. But how fucking cool is that?
It's awesome.
Like,
and the thing is that
cheaper than night vision goggles, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, one, cheaper than night vision goggles, but 2, like, besides, like, military applications, which are freaking obvious. Of course, I'd start carrying around high-powered flash grenades. Oh, see in the dark, huh? Not much longer.
Hope you can read Braille.
Yeah. But besides the obvious military applications, like, you think about things like search and rescue teams,
diving at night,
night diving, even just deep sea diving, where there's no
Oh
light.
God, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you could actually see things.
Yeah.
Without turning on a light and disturbing them. You could observe them, how they behave naturally.
And the thing is like, have you ever seen deep sea, the lighting when you go to a deep sea dive? Mm-hmm. Like, they're using like 10,000 candle power lights, and it goes 3 feet because of how dense everything is.
Yep.
So if it could allow you to, even if you don't have 50 meters because you're underwater, if you can see 20 or 30 meters even underwater,
it'd be amazing.
Depths, it would be amazing, and we could observe a whole lot more.
It sounds like the effects last for about 24 hours. I think I read in the article.
That's pretty nice. Plus, it's not overly long. You can get back to a normal routine.
Exactly. Like, you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, you're pretty much fine.
Yeah.
I mean, once they get the technology developed a little bit, the solution right, then
tweak the dosage.
It's an eyedropper.
Yeah. Well, and what I'm wondering is...
Well, and also tweak the dosage, so I want night vision for 4 hours.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Well, and what I was wondering is if this is a chemical that they could eventually synthesize in a lab.
Probably.
So they wouldn't even have to harvest it from the sea critters.
Right. More than likely, we can synthesize
which
a lot.
is pretty cheap if you do it in large quantities.
Yeah.
So, like, when you just think of, like, even if you're just thinking about the military applications, like, the amount of money our military would save not having to deal with, night vision goggles, just being able to synthesize this chemical.
Yeah.
Hand out eyedroppers of it.
Yeah, as long as you can make it into a safe eyedropper that people can just use.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that...
Mix those with Google Glass contacts.
But the Google Glass wouldn't be able to see at night.
Well, no, the Google Glass type idea doesn't have to, because you just dim the output on it, so it's still comparable. So you can still see it through whatever you're seeing.
I just like using it as like a portable HUD.
Yeah, just having it as a HUD to feed you information like the Google Glass can do now, or the Scully helmet.
Well, but what I'm saying is it wouldn't be able to feed you information on things because it wouldn't be able to make them out.
Look, if you do like how much ammo you have left, or
okay,
yeah,
like
that.
Direction map.
Yeah,
map
that stuff,
map directions, things that they can already technically do.
We're going so cyberpunk with this.
Of course,
I think it's called biopunk at this point, right?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Biopunk, Bioshock.
I think cyberpunk is kind of biopunk.
Cyberpunk does a lot of biotechnical stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know Bioshock's all about like, here, drink this, and now you have superpowers.
Yeah.
I wish. Am I right?
Inject this. Inject this really bright thing into your veins.
That was Mason pantomiming it.
Yeah, sorry.
Be all over that crap.
I mean, if it wasn't so specific, and like I liked Bioshock, but it's no Elder Scrolls or Fallout to me. But to get the chain tattoo on the arm, yeah. But no, yeah, it's not quite as much of a lifelong love as Elder Scrolls or Fallout to me. So
I dig Bioshock. Bioshock's my jam. I'm really sad that developer is gone.
I like Lego Harry Potter, like a lot. I ordered Ravenclaw lounge pants.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm
Ravenclaw for life,
right? I knew you'd be a Ravenclaw. Wit beyond measure is man's greatest treasure.
I am not that
Fuck
deep
you
into
guys.
Harry Potter.
I was at the right age where I was like on the tail end of the demographic, and also a lady nerd. So I think
my cousin was the same way though, but he picked them up later. Like,
see, I lived with Becca when like the movies first started coming out, and that was when I worked at Game World, and we would go see all of them when they came out. And I was the only person she let read her Harry Potter books.
Harry Pottery?
I said Harry Potter books.
You said Harry Pottery.
Anyway,
roll the tape back. I swear I heard Harry Pottery.
Whatever. Anyway.
Okay.
It sounds like a really weird crafty thing, like doing pottery with hair.
Gross.
Well, actually,
it would reinforce the clay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It would. No, and I know it would because I've walked through mud and dry grass at the same time. And
let's move this forward before I start getting into Harry Potter porn.
No.
Why?
No.
Why? Mike?
Harry Potter?
No. Harry Potter actually works better.
Potter.
No, Harry Potter works better than your porn name. Like the name Harry Potter works better than your porn name.
It's not my porn
Dustin,
name.
news now. Go.
Please.
So let's talk about art.
It's a madhouse. I love Planet of the Apes, you guys. Go.
You blew it up. Sorry.
Damn you.
I started a thing. Oh god, I'm gonna have to rewatch those now.
Whatever, Simeon.
Whatever your face, Simeon pants.
So let's talk about art.
See, the funny thing about the insult of Simeon is that all the apes are simians too.
You and me. Let's talk about all the things and the bad things. Anyway.
TLC
Sorry,
all of a sudden?
No, it's not TLC.
No, it isn't. Okay.
Don't go chase the
I was totally singing Red Light Special at my friend's chickens when I went over there because they have a heat light on them.
I'm leaving this podcast.
It was magical.
Just go.
Heat lights are red, Mike.
I can't. How do I be serious about this after hearing that? So let's talk about art. Art is a great thing.
Yes.
I like art.
Especially comic book art. And
comic book art.
Comic book art has been the been the face of a lot of
comic books.
weird controversy in the past.
Yeah, actually, this is definitely not the first time.
Nope. This time around, we've got. Well, let's explain here. So,
DC has gotten back into the idea of variant covers being cool.
which I like the idea.
I
of
like variant
covers being cool.
Not this one.
I like variant covers. However, I worked at a comics book store during the boom of the variant cover bullshit for collectors. Okay, we made money hand over fist on it. But
That's what she said.
which is especially funny because the manager was a woman.
Oh.
But I've kind of grown to hate variant covers in a way because of it. Because I don't like people thinking they're going to be able to speculate on them anymore and train and yeah.
Like, how much is it going to be worth?
Right.
Kind of like
It's like Beanie Babies.
Right.
Kind of like the baseball card boom of like the early '90s, where
Yeah.
And still has all hers. I'm like, are you saving those for rainy days? You cash them in.
But
yeah,
but
but
the thing
any
is,
of the baseball cards that were released in like the late '80s to like mid '90s.
Oh, I know.
were completely
That's why I
worthless.
tease her about it.
yeah. Well, but the thing is like if you want to get a variant, if you want to do a variant cover because it's a special issue, like something actually big is going to happen, cool. If you want to do a variant cover because it's the first issue of a comic, like a new comic coming out, that could be a cool thing, hype some interest basically, but like people who speculate on it, I just want to slap them nowadays. It's like the boom blew up in everybody's faces that did that because they were expecting Batman first appearances and things like that. And that's not going to happen again. Or if it does, like, there could be all of a sudden become this massive cult following for Sandman, for example, and all of a sudden the Sandman's become worth a lot of money.
I'd be rich, you guys.
But it's probably not going to happen. And even if it did,
I wouldn't sell my Sandmans.
the outlandish prices that people pay for like the first appearance of Batman and Superman, that's not going to happen again. Those are very special comics from a special time where no one thought to collect a comic book. Yeah, they would throw them out after they were done reading them or pass them off to a friend. And, it would go through 2 or 3 people and then they get thrown away.
Like porno mags. Just in the woods somewhere. To be found.
Some temporary waterproof garbage bag hidden in a hollowed log out in the pond.
Exactly.
Speaking from experience, man.
I was going to say, that was really specific. I was making just like a generalized
I
statement.
may know somebody. Not myself.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
Not myself personally, but that.
I just used the stash. It wasn't mine, I swear. Ossifer.
Okay, anyway, go
I
ahead.
didn't do it.
Go ahead.
So recently there was the cover of the New 52 Batgirl number 41. There was a variant cover released by artist Raphael Albuquerque, which shows a picture of the Joker smearing a bloody smile across Batgirl's frightened face
I think it's
with
Harley
his
Quinn,
arm
isn't
draped
it?
over her
No,
shoulder
it's Batgirl.
with a gun in his hand. So now the intention of this particular cover was to be
Not rapey?
was to be an homage to the Killing Joke.
Not necessarily. It was an homage to The Killing Joke, which is one of the best Batman stories ever written. It's, however, incredibly adult and incredibly intense. And I'm not talking adult as in sex. I'm talking adult. Okay, Joker may or may not have raped Barbara Gordon in it.
That's all speculation.
It's all speculation. But
she get naked.
But he did strip her and her father naked in front of her, and then he shot her through the stomach and spine and let her father watch her bleed out.
Joker's a really nice guy, you guys. He's got such a great sense of humor.
Yes.
The
was
controversy behind this, though, is that the New 52 Batgirl is supposed to be uppy and cheery and gung-ho for the kids.
Yeah.
And so this cover kind of threw people off for a little bit. It basically, like you said, it feels kind of rapey, over-violent for the type of cover that it is. And so now DC's getting a bunch of flack for it.
Yeah.
So I see both sides of the story. You should be able to, have your artistic expression and homage, but at the same time, know your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. With how they're portraying the new Batgirl, it was probably not an appropriate cover. However, I cannot say I hate the piece of artwork because it is
it's awesome.
It's really well done. Yeah,
it's really, besides being well done, it is clearly an homage to The Killing Joke, which, like I said, is one of the best Batman stories written ever. Like, I always hope, like, okay, it's kind of a weird hope because I know they'll never do it, but every time that they start a new Batman series of movies, I kind of hope they're going to do The Killing Joke. Because, like, one of the last lines in The Killing Joke is Batman holding Joker over a pier, and he says to him, "We have to stop this or one of us will someday kill the other one." And Joker just laughs. I mean, it's like after everything he's gone through, the Joker, knowing he's going back to, you know, Arkham with its revolving fucking door, you know, even after everything, the Joker finds the fact that one day him and Batman, one of them is going to have to kill the other. He finds it all to just still be a joke. Mm-hmm. It's all funny to him. Like,
well, he is fucking psychotic.
Yeah, he is. He is all the fruits in the Fruit Loops.
Well, they even made mention of that in The Dark Knight, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
Or is that what we were talking about?
No.
No, we're talking about a comic.
This is the comic Killing Joke.
Yeah.
I always hope that they're going to make Killing Joke as part of the movie storylines because it is so powerful. I mean, I the next set of Batman movies, if anyone in Hollywood somehow hears this, please don't start with Batman's origin story again. We know already.
My parents are dead.
Yeah. We already know why and how the Batman got to be the Batman.
The average toddler can tell you Batman's backstory.
Yeah. You know, and now there's the TV show Gotham going on.
Yeah.
Really, we don't need to know anymore. We know, okay, granted, Gotham's not really about Batman, but he's in there. But we know how he becomes the Batman and why. You know.
But we don't know it the way they're telling it.
No, we do. They're not varying from the story. No one ever does. But, you know, just start Batman somewhere in the middle of his career, doing his thing. You know?
I want to see teenage Batman, like, awkwardly asking a girl out on a date with pimples under his bat mask.
He didn't have the bat mask. He didn't actually don it until he was 24.
I know. I'm just saying it would be something original.
Yeah, it would.
He could have still had pimples at 24. I did.
Yeah, true. But anyway, so
let me. Did you read this at all, Nikki?
What, the article?
Yeah.
I did not.
Well, the title of it says, "Well, now how does it feel?" Just saying.
What?
I didn't.
He's trying to throw it back at you.
Yeah. Because I didn't read your article.
Well, but I saw it was there.
Shush.
And I didn't share the story on our news page. I'm not saying I read all of your. I'm not saying I read all your guys' articles. I'm saying I pay attention to what they are so that I don't accidentally post them before you have a chance to share them. Sorry. No, it's fine. No. Continue trying to throw it back in my face, please.
I can't win. So the title says comics like Batgirl shouldn't require a quote-unquote good feminist seal of approval, is what it says. Now it says, and it opens up with a backlash against a Batgirl comic book cover somehow perceived as sexually violent has caused the cover to be withdrawn.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Was this article written by a man or a woman?
Woman, Kathy Young.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Leading to a backlash against perceived censorship. Sexism is a popular culture in a valid... Wait. Sexism in popular controlled... God damn. Sexism is popular in...
Do you want me to read the words?
Sexism in popular culture is a valid concern. But when feminist criticism becomes an outrage machine that chills creative expression, it's bad for feminism and bad for female representation.
I don't like that.
Making artists, writers, filmmakers, and even audiences walk on eggshells for fear of committing thought crime against womanhood is no way to encourage quality art or enjoyable entertainment. Not to mention the creation of good female characters.
Can I please interject?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay, so here's the thing is, people perceive feminists as being really extreme, making a big deal out of nothing, but the only reason they do that is because it's not equal at all. Like, even in a position like nursing, where it's like 10-1 women as opposed to men, pay is still uneven. Like, the men still make more, even in nursing. Like, it's ridiculous. So the reason why people are hypersensitive to this is because, as Michelle Rodriguez said, like, instead of, like, we need more characters that appeal to more than just white men, basically. Like, it's there. And so on the one hand, I think that is an interesting piece of art. On the other hand, I think that was the wrong venue to put it in, since that is geared towards younger people. There are probably a lot of young girls that read that because there aren't a lot of female superheroes out there.
Especially ones as famous as Batgirl.
Ones that are famous, ones that are easy to come across, ones that you can find merch for. Really hard to find. There are a lot more female villains than there are female superheroes. And I think that it's important for young girls to have good, positive role models. And so if this is geared towards young girls, I agree that was a really inappropriate thing to do. And I'm irritated that this woman's talking about, like, hypersensitive feminists, because I'm not a hypersensitive feminist. I know people that are, and they kind of annoy me a little bit.
Well, the other thing,
but to me, it's because I looked at that and thought it was rapey. I'm not a 13-year-old girl. A 13-year-old girl isn't necessarily going to think it's rapey. It's just not something that, like, would you want your daughter, if she was, 12, 13, looking at that picture and seeing that as the portrayal of what could potentially be her hero?
Interesting. I never thought I flipped it around like that before.
Like, that's my thing, is, like, we don't have a lot of strong, positive female role models. The ones that we do have a tendency to get demonized or turned into something like that, which is part of why I was so excited about the new Batgirl, was her costume is practical.
Well, it's not like even Wonder Woman gets demonized all the time.
Don't even start me. There was a really great documentary on Wonder Woman on PBS last couple weeks ago.
I have to look it up.
It was fucking amazing.
Have you
talking
seen
about how
Have you seen her new costume?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yes.
So it was talking about how in the beginning Wonder Woman actually got in trouble because they had some things that were taken as S&M.
Yeah.
And she was a strong woman character, and they were like, she's going to make girls lesbians, blah, blah, blah. And then during the war, they used her to make women go into the workforce. And then after the war, all of a sudden, Wonder Woman's a fucking housewife. And, like, no more superpowers and all this other stuff, and it's just ridiculous. So we don't have a lot of female superheroes, and a lot of the ones that we do, the focus is more on their boobs than it is on the fact that they're capable human beings. Yeah. So that's why that bothered me, is because Batgirl's a capable human being, and that's really, she's being overpowered by a crazy rapey dude. And that's
here's what caught my attention to it, is that it comes out and it says, making artists, writers, filmmakers, and even audiences walk on eggshells for fear of committing tough thought crime against womanhood is no way to encourage quality art or enjoyable entertainment. Now, here's my answer to that. Quality art and entertainment is also a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working for a commercial industry such as DC Comics.
And I'm sorry, but nobody's walking on eggshells. If they were walking on eggshells, that wouldn't have come out.
Now, if this had been painted probably in his off time and just released as a piece of artwork on his behalf, totally different.
That is a totally different venue than a comic book that little girls are reading that is probably their hero. Like, it's a totally different venue. If you want to, I feel like my sociology class is making me more sensitive to stuff like this too.
Sociology classes make you more sensitive to stuff like this,
which is good. Which is good, because you need to be. So
social work is doing this to my wife.
I'm going to teach you a really great job, a really great word, hegemony.
Hegemony?
Hegemony.
Sorry,
I like hegemony
I always say it wrong. It's a weird word.
Hegemony.
So I'm going to try and explain this. It's kind of a weird concept. So hegemony is when we take things for granted as normal and natural and the way things are when they're really super not. The example my teacher used is when she was in Japan teaching, she was trying to figure out a way to bond with her students. So when they would come in the morning, she'd ask them what they had for breakfast. Just a conversation starter. They all had kimchi. She could smell it on them. She thought it smelled horrible. She's like, oh my God, these poor children are being abused. They're not having cereal for breakfast. I'm going to have my brother send me a package of sugary cereals, and I'm going to blow their fucking little minds. So she gets this package, lets them try the cereal. They're like, oh my God, this is disgusting. This is what American kids are eating for breakfast.
Kimchi is good for breakfast.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree, but it's proving a point, Mason.
I'm just sorry.
So,
kimchi is also a lot
healthier.
Okay,
but let me finish this, because this is one of those concepts that's like, it's weird to grasp.
Yeah.
So those kids were like, oh my God, this is what American kids eat for breakfast. That's horrible. Here, send them some kimchi. And then things that we take as being normal and natural, like cereal for breakfast, really aren't. Things like inequality between men and women. That's not a natural thing. Things like letting people's sexual orientation bother you, even though it doesn't affect you. That's not a normal thing. Another one that she had that was a really good example is when she's in the store and she wants beer, and the beer's all the way in the back of the store. But there's a cart next to her that's being pushed by a person that's got the beer she likes in it. It's not technically theirs yet. They didn't buy it. Why doesn't she just take it?
Yoink.
Gemini. Because it's not how you do things. So it's like I'm more sensitive to this stuff now. And so like I've been noticing the inequalities in superheroes and comic books.
It sounds like to me like the hegemony is like where does the moral line blur?
No.
Well, no,
it's not about morals.
It's not
Hegemony
about morals.
is
It's about things we think are normal.
Culturally and socially considered the norms.
Yeah, which in between different cultures
are different.
Totally different. You know, but we consider that to be normal and natural because we grow up doing that. So we see other people doing things, and we're just like, "What the fuck is happening? What is wrong with you? That is not what people do." But that's not true. It's just not what our culture does.
I would say
that's how I feel about that.
Like another example of this is an example of why hegemony is bad. Is you know that I mentioned this thing about Indiana a minute ago?
Yeah.
That is the white old person Christians trying to maintain their hegemonic views over the rest of society.
I knew Mason could explain this better than I could.
Whereas a lot of younger people, even a lot of younger white Christians do not see everything in that same hard line, rigid hegemony of the white old Christian people. They're more accepting of difference, more accepting of the fact that
a working wage is not minimum wage is not a living wage.
Yeah,
right.
That's a thing that's accepted culturally now. That's not a normal okay thing. Like that's
right.
It used to be that minimum wage was the minimum amount that you could live off of.
Like Harry Ford, as much of a bad person as he was in some ways, was also a champion for the workers, even though he was the epitome in a lot of ways of the corporate man. I mean, dude invented, the modern factory system in a lot of ways.
Well, it was the Fords developed the
assembly
line.
Actually, technically he didn't, but he was the one who kind of perfected the idea.
He put it into practice.
He put it into practice the best. It was actually invented in Germany, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things he said was that, people were like, wow, you pay your workers a lot of money to him. Well, he said it's simple. I pay my workers enough that they can buy my product.
Yeah.
A lot of companies don't want to pay workers to the point where they can buy that company's product anymore. They want to get away with paying the workers as little as possible, so that only the people on top profit. The problem is that is not a sustainable practice. However, our modern society, that is part of the generally accepted hegemony by people who are 55 and older.
So let me bring this back to the Batgirl art thing. Yeah. So we're so used to seeing images like that and things that are objectifying women. I hate that I'm sounding like one of the crazies. I'm not. It's just, it is a thing that once you notice it, you're like, holy shit, it really is bad.
It's one thing when the superhero is just getting beat up versus...
But
superheroes are expected to get beat up. When you toss down with a supervillain...
they're fighting. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But so, we're so used to seeing, large-breasted superheroines. Like, think about Power Girl.
Which actually was partially a joke.
I know. I actually explained that to somebody the other day and blew their mind.
She needs that vent for...
But anyways,
Fairchild.
How do you always see her? From the top down, right? And just boobs out. We're so used to seeing images like that when we see something like this and people are like, whoa, everyone's like, you're overreacting. It's like, actually, no, you're underreacting to all the other stuff.
But again, that's also a know your audience thing, too.
It is, but the thing is, you get to a point, though, where if the only female images that are available for young girls to read, because girls like comics too, and there's a lot of men that are strong, powerful men, always saving the day, saving the girl. There aren't a lot of strong women in comics, and it gets to a point where it's like, we're not being sensitive. It's very unequal, and it sends a message to girls that, because it does, because kids pay attention to stuff like that. So when the girls in movies are always being rescued by princes, I wish they were being rescued by princesses. That's a genre I'd watch.
Come on, Disney.
Get on it, Disney. That would never happen. But when they're always being rescued by princes, there's always damsels in distress. In a lot of comic books, the girlfriend's always getting in the way and having to be rescued. It's that Princess Peach and Mario mentality. It teaches girls on an unconscious level, but it teaches them that they can't do things on their own. It's kind of like with Legos, how, I don't know if you've looked at the girl Legos. They're pink, they're a little bigger than the boys' Legos, and they come with like cute little dolls. And
I would like to point out I would never ever buy those.
Yeah, no, exactly. And yeah, you
I don't
can
know.
just buy...
I'm not like.
Oh no, it's
I'm talking.
awful.
I would never buy them for Evie.
No.
As an example, I would, if she wanted Legos, she would get normal Legos.
And that's the thing. However,
Here's the
little
Star
girls,
Wars complete set. Have fun, kid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my niece as an example. So she is 10 now. Holy crap! But when she was 8, going on 8, Ange and I ran into her and her mom at Walmart. She was picking out back to school supplies. She's a really cool kid. Her dad's really into Star Wars, so she really likes Star Wars, Nintendo, and Doctor Who. Whenever she comes over, she always asks if we can watch Doctor Who.
Nice.
She's usually got a younger sibling who can't handle it, so I'm like, well, maybe not. But she always wants to watch that. And then she went into a different grade school and was hanging out with these girls who like pink, like princesses. Boys are starting to tell her. She was getting made fun of by boys for the things that she liked. Like, I saw her, she was looking at a Batman backpack. Totally badass. I'm like, is that the one you want? That's really cool. She's like, well, that's not for girls, though. And she, like, walked over. She walked over. This was a year after, like, she was asking for all this stuff. Like, just a year before, she was all into this stuff. And then she didn't want that backpack because she was going to get made fun of for having it because it's not for girls. Cool stuff isn't for girls. She has to go for the other stuff. Even though she wants to.
Fuck that. Cool things are for kids.
Exactly.
You know how many times I go into fucking the kids section at fucking Fred Meyer and I'm like, where's the 2X?
Yeah. Oh no, and I agree.
You want it.
I know.
And I agree, and I think that's how most of our friends are with their kids too.
Oh, yeah.
There's a very large portion of the population that buy the for girls toys for girls, and the for boys toys for boys. Like Angela's other niece turned 4 a couple weeks ago. Her birthday party, princesses and pirates, because she couldn't decide. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kudos to Mom. Kudos to Adelaide. She's running around in an Elsa dress with an eye patch and a pirate sword.
Yes.
It was
That kicks ass.
amazing.
There was a somebody I follow on Facebook whose son got a lot of flack because he wanted a Frozen birthday party. And her parents actually backlashed at her.
Yeah. One of my friends
Her
has a son who just likes the color pink. He's got bright red hair and it looks kind of adorable on him because it doesn't match at all. And he just
kind of painful in a way.
A little painful, but like he really likes the color pink. But he gets made fun of, and she was so excited because she found this superhero shirt that was red, but it was kind of faded out, so it was pink.
Yeah.
And so it was a shirt that he could wear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, babies aren't born liking a certain color.
No.
Like
That's
pink used to be a boy's color, actually.
Yeah.
Back in the, early 1900s?
It was in the Victorian era. Pink was totally the boy's
pink
color.
Pink was the boy color. Like, these things that we
it
consider to be
flipped
normal.
in the 30s, I want to say.
And then it was
20s,
boys. Boys like blue, girls like pink. And even if you don't teach your child that, they're going to pick up on it somewhere along the line. So providing them with these positive role models that don't go along with those kind of stereotypes are really good for kids' development. Like, I mean, there's a reason a lot of girls, there aren't as many girl engineers, stuff like that. Like, it's just, so basically, long story, not very short, that does bother me, but that lady's reaction bothers me more than the actual thing. How she said that it's people walking on eggshells and being hypersensitive. And it's like, no, the problem is that with this is an issue.
Corporations being hypersensitive is what it is.
This is a thing that we need to talk about because there is an inequality in how little boys and little girls are treated. Just think about the compliments. Like, if somebody had a baby, no, I mean, all babies look the same, right?
Roughly,
no, like
yes.
in a blue blanket. And
everyone assumes it's a boy.
Yeah, everyone assumes it's a boy and says things like, oh, you're so strong, and oh, you're going to be a football player, and are you going to be an astronaut? Oh, let's give you dinosaur things. And if it's a girl, they don't compliment strength or intelligence or things like that. They compliment her looks.
Yeah.
Seriously, pay attention to it sometime because it's true. Like, if they put that exact same baby in a pink blanket, they would start saying, oh, you're so pretty, you're such a little princess.
Yep.
Like, all children need to have equal opportunities open to them.
Yeah.
Like, if a little boy wants to be a model and be told he's pretty, that's fine. Good for him. Models make a lot of money. If a little girl wants to be an engineer or an astronaut, that's fine too. Like,
engineers and astronauts make a lot of money.
Exactly, and they're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
actually, astronauts don't make a lot of money, but
cool.
you get the ability to go
space.
Yeah, but you get to be able to say, "What's your job?" I'm an astronaut.
Exactly. So
hands down wins.
That kind of thing.
It does.
The fact that lady says that, but even just that simple experiment, if you were to do that, it's like, no, we're not overly sensitive to this. This is an actual thing that people need to talk about because while we're living in a society that's supposed to be enlightened and more equal, we're really not as far as pay and how we treat men versus women. And like, I'm not a crazy feminist. I get annoyed by the people that are called feminazis. I don't like that phrase, but at the same time, I don't like how they go about their arguments, but I feel like their core beliefs that there are inequalities are true because there really are. And once you start noticing them, you see it everywhere. Like fucking commercials. Oh my God.
And somehow Carl's Jr. figured out how to sexualize a hamburger.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate those commercials. They're stupid.
I like hamburgers too, but you know what? I don't need to see a naked... I like naked ladies too. Don't need to see one walking around with a hamburger.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Those don't go together. Who would eat a hamburger naked? That is the worst idea. You would get things in places and... No.
Rule 42. Okay. Don't have to do it.
Oh, God, it exists.
I'd also like to point out that Evie has a pair of Spider-Man pajamas.
Oh, no. And I'm not trying to knock on you because I know that you're a great parent and I know that your child is a giant nerd and you just let her do the shit that she likes to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that is fucking awesome. And I know that the majority of people who listen to this podcast and have children are probably the exact same way because nerds have a tendency to get excited about things and want their children to be excited about those same things. And we have a tendency to like things that cross stereotypical traditional gender borders. You know, like anime,
bronies, for example.
Yeah, bronies. Or to me, anime was always a thing that girls, because I grew up with Heidi, that was a thing. It was a girl thing, but I know a lot of guys that like it. You know, same with, you know, action movies, video games, all this stuff that are considered to be one stereotype versus another. Like, think about every single video game commercial you see. It's a dude playing it.
It's a dude playing it.
Sometimes his girlfriend's annoying him while he's playing it.
And it's usually mostly when you see a person playing a video game in a game commercial.
It's usually a dude.
It's usually a dude, usually a frat boy look.
Usually a white dude.
And also, it is almost invariably a high-action military game, like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They, you know, I mean, yeah, Bethesda, for example, did commercials, like, on TV for Skyrim. It didn't show word one of a player playing Skyrim. They were the live-action, it was the dude, live-action, you know, the signature dude that's on the cover, essentially, of Skyrim. And Blizzard did commercials for WoW. And I'm not talking about the ones where they had the people, like the famous people who actually played WoW.
Those are funny.
Those are good commercials.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they never did a Mila Kunis one.
But I mean, if somebody can think of a video game commercial that shows a female playing a video game that's not what would be considered a stereotypical female role. I'm talking no Cooking Mama ads.
Like the latest Barbie game.
Yeah, exactly. Those don't count. I'm talking a video game that is considered to be traditionally male, like Call of Duty sports games, things like that, that women do play. Probably nerd girls play them as much as nerd guys do.
For example, okay.
But I've never seen a woman in a video game commercial.
For example, I started actually...
And I know a lot of gamer chicks. Like,
I started playing League. I know. Well, yeah, it's amazing.
I'm not judging, you're fine.
Because one, the community's not as dickish as it once was in League, and I'm finding that I like it about as much as Dota now. But I'm having fun kind of learning a new game. Here's what I'm getting to. So one of the things I do, like when I'm not actually in the mood to play, or I'm painting minis or eating dinner or whatever, I'll turn on a Twitch channel and watch someone else play. I have found that it is actually easier to watch the girls' streams because, well, one, most of the guy streams are fuck, shit, you asshole.
Well, my stream would be that too.
But like a lot of the girls, like they're just kind of interacting with the people in chat and playing the game and talking about the game.
They're as into it as the guys. They just express it in different ways.
These girls are totally into it. Like one of the ones I watch, her boyfriend's actually like one of the top League of Legends players in the world.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And it's Fran Plays Halo is the actual channel because she started out her gaming career as a pro Halo player. Halo. You know, that little shooter by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like people will ask her occasionally, like when they find her channel, it's like, you're playing League. Why does it say Fran Plays Halo? She's like, well, I started out playing Halo.
Yeah.
You know.
But see, so there are women that do this.
And
we're not represented though.
She's totally a good player. Like she's freaking awesome. You know, and like there's a lot of like it's like I found that it's easier to watch her channel than some like a lot of the guys who are at the same level of play as she is, because she's like up there. You know, she's not as good as her boyfriend, but
that's not because he's a dude. It's because he's a professional.
It's because he's played enough that he, you know, and she's getting she's finishing up her pre-med this May. So
kind of hard to have time for both.
Yeah, somehow she's doing it.
Well,
more power to her.
When I worked at Game World, and I would go fix games.
Yeah.
There would be guys that would ask me for the men to come up and do it because they didn't believe that I knew how. I was really good at fixing the fucking games. Yeah. I knew what I was doing. You know, so my favorite is when somebody would come up from air hockey, walk past me to one of the guys I was working with, and ask them to come fix the game. The guys knew he doesn't know how to do it, so I go over and I fix it. And on air hockey, the puck would get stuck, so you'd have to do a Fonz on it and just go BAM! Right above where the puck comes out, and it would drop down. It was my favorite thing because these guys didn't think I knew my shit. And I'd just go up and go the Fonz on that air hockey table. Is the best.
Awesome.
But, like, you run into it everywhere, and once you start noticing it, it's really interesting. And I'm bothered that person thinks that people are walking on eggshells because they're not. If people were walking on eggshells, we wouldn't be seeing the problems that we do.
I would say my thought on the art is it was a great piece of art. I knew what he was paying homage to.
See, and I didn't. I've never read that storyline.
You should.
I think the majority of people that read that comic also probably haven't read that storyline.
But that's the thing, is that
again, know your audience.
Know your audience. And like you know, Batgirl is being targeted at a younger teenage audience, and specifically more girls. They don't need a homage to Killing Joke as a teenager. It's not a comic teenagers should read.
Exactly.
It is a comic meant for mature minds. I read it as a teenager, but I wasn't your average run-of-the-mill teenager.
I was reading Witchblade and Fathom as a teenager.
Right. But, you know,
high five.
And Gen 13.
But, you know, I wasn't your average
Which, again, just proves my point because they're just buxom, scantily clad women.
Boobies!
Boobies. Which have a place also, know your audience.
Yeah.
But maybe give us some good quality, actually dressed superhero.
Right. And, like,
well.
you know, so I don't think I think that piece of art should have been released possibly as, like, a limited edition print. But not as the cover to Batgirl.
No. The limited edition print, it probably, like, you would have made a ton of money off of it as opposed to getting...
Yeah.
Mike, feel free to weigh in at any time, I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
I don't know if people know you exist
And
at this
I
point.
just realized I forgot to mention that other part of my news. The thing that we want to do.
Oh, we want to do that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, well...
Okay.
So let's go on to Mike's news. Because we've been here for an hour and a half doing this one almost.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right, mine's pretty quick, actually.
That's what you get when you ask me how I feel about feminism.
So, Mars.
All right, well, good night, everybody.
So, Curiosity rover up there on Mars, running around, digging up Martian soil. Found evidence of nitrogen in the soil. And not just any nitrogen, but the good nitrogen that is required for life to be able to exist.
Yep. So they have now found evidence of the correct type of nitrogen, and water and ice water ice on Mars. So, yeah.
Yep. So they're thinking that it's very likely that before the whole, atmosphere getting stripped away by solar radiation, that it is possible that
And
microbes
non-gravity.
had existed on Mars.
Yeah. It would have probably been microbial life from how long ago it was. It would have had time to have developed into multicelled organisms. But we may, and they have found evidence on Mars of things that could have possibly been created by microorganisms. So, but they're not 100% certain on those. But
Aliens.
Well, I'll
technically, she's right. Aliens. Alien microbes.
Specifically, Martians.
Specifically Martians.
You realize that when we go to Mars, and if they get freaky and a baby's born on Mars, it'll be a Martian.
Yes.
I want to be a baby when we're on Mars.
It's too late. I'm sorry.
I know! 30 years too late!
Maybe if you start believing in Buddhism and get reincarnated.
I mean, energy never really dies.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, we
It just
converted.
gets redispersed and
Yep.
converted, yeah.
Mike,
Okay.
continue.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a good note.
I'm excited though.
Well, no, explain to them how long Curiosity's been doing its thing now.
Bazillion!
Right.
Because that's also an amazing part of it.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, I don't think I had that specifically in this order.
It might not have been in that story.
No,
I know it
wasn't in this
basically did a
particular story.
marathon.
No,
Yeah.
it's been there a very long time.
Yeah, it's been there a very long time, and it has now essentially run the first Martian marathon.
Very
Again,
slowly.
It took it years, but it did it.
It did it. Good job, little buddy.
Yeah.
I want to make him a trophy.
In other news,
Send him up a trophy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Are you ready?
Well, yeah, I was just saying most of this article is about giving the details of the nitrate and nitrates and different types and why it's important.
Yes.
Science.
Science.
It was an interesting read. But, hey.
Did you realize that when I get my degree, we'll have 2 scientists on this podcast?
That'd be awesome.
I'm also just putting this out there that other side news, WrestleMania was tonight, which is like the Super Bowl.
my brain just switched off.
Well, hold on. Which is like the Super Bowl of wrestling events. Ronda Rousey was there as a guest tonight, and she wore a Dragon Ball Z shirt with Vegeta on it that says over 9,000.
Nice.
Nice.
The Boise State Abraxans decided to turn down going to the Quidditch World Cup this year
Why?
because they couldn't afford to.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing it's hard to find funding for a fictional sport.
It's real, and we're really good at it. I was supposed to go to the Tree City
Open or something?
sports tournament.
Okay.
That word. Tree City tournament, but it was at the same time as another thing, so I couldn't go.
Announcement?
Okay, so announcement. So some of you guys might have, yeah, words. Might have heard us talking about this at Tree City Comic Con last year, but myself and Dancing Lady Deadpool had this really great idea of doing a Deadpool Harlem Shake video. So if you have a Deadpool costume,
Or know of anybody.
or know of anybody with a Deadpool costume,
Or are willing to make a Deadpool costume.
or know somebody with a Deadpool t-shirt, etc. Deadpool shit. Contact me, Nikki at nerdeffect.com, because I would really, really like to make this happen. If you're unfamiliar with the Harlem Shake video, they were really popular about 3 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Got really annoying really fast. Now it's been just long enough that they're funny again. Imagine one of those with just all Deadpools. Just go to YouTube, look up Harlem Shake, and then picture it with Deadpools. It'd be hilarious. And if you would like to participate in said video, yeah, again, email me, Nikki at nerdeffect.com, and I would really like to try and finagle people's schedules so that we can do a video sometime this summer.
Boom.
That's it. You could be internet famous. I have a feeling this has the makings of a viral video. So, that's the bribery. We can't pay you, we can't give you things, but you might be internet famous in a Deadpool mask.
If we get particularly punchy and throw some money at, we might be able to get everyone a Coke.
Oh,
Possibly pizza.
we could get pizza.
If we get
we
up there.
could pitch in, do pizza. I'd be willing.
Or if
to
you all
throw
want to
that.
pitch in, just throw $5 at it and
Yeah.
we'll all get pizza.
So you pay us to be us in
Yes.
our video, but we get pizza.
We'll have a good time doing it.
It's going to be really fun.
It'll be a pizza party. It'll be a Deadpool Harlem Shake,
pizza party.
Harlem Shake pizza party.
It's going to be really fun. So if this is a thing that you will be interested in, or you know people that would be interested in, please pass it along. We know we have Deadpools here because we've seen them at the cons. There's always a conglomeration of the Deadpools.
It's not a real con until there's at least 3 Deadpools.
Exactly. I'm going to make up some sort of graphic for this that we can share on the Nerd Effect page and other people can share around.
Okay.
So I'll work on that probably tomorrow. But if this is the thing that would interest you, if you have any sort of feedback on it, please email me, Nikki@nerdeffect.com. I really want this to happen.
NIKKI at Nerd Effect.
Oh, NIKKI, yes. Sorry, I didn't even think about that. Well, there's links on the website, I'm sure, to our emails
Well, that too.
and our profiles.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, Mason.
Deadpool Harlem
Oh,
Shake.
right. I still never finished that, huh?
We've been doing this a really long time.
I was working on it, and then I kind of stopped.
Stopped working on it. So, Deadpool Harlem Shake, you know you want to be in it. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Can I follow up a LOL story for on
Yes.
Mason's behalf?
Yeah.
So apparently this was put up. It's tag teaming off of it was posted today on Raw Story. In a classic case of unintended consequences, the recently signed Religious Freedom Restoration Act in Indiana may have opened the door for the establishment of the first church of cannabis,
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
which is amazing. Go with them.
Yep.
Might as well abuse it.
I think that's less abusing it.
That'd be the Gen Con story, not the LOL story. Because they didn't really have a LOL story in there. I was just I was talking about the whole feminism thing.
I think that would be less abuse of that law than what the Christian crazies are planning on doing with it.
Yeah.
But
Cannabis helps people.
Yeah. And there was also a lady in Florida. To preface, the Church of Satan in Florida put up a display talking about their religious beliefs.
I thought you were talking about the statue.
it was like a goat statue, right? Or the
Or they were doing something, and it was in like the Capitol building, or a library, or some other very public and very, very much government-owned building. Remember the whole separation of church and state thing.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah. But a woman who happened to be Catholic, but devout Christian, specifically in her case Catholic, was caught trying to steal the pieces of it and was kicked out of the place. Okay. A couple days later, she comes back and starts trying to make a run for it with it. Like to try to get rid of the Satanist propaganda. And is then proceeded to be interviewed and stuff. And how she's saying that this is just Satan controlling people's minds and blah, 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 Christian bullshit rhetoric. Here.
It's like, do you hear the irony
She-
spilling out of your mouth?
Yeah.
She
Do you not know the history of your own religion? Because I'm pretty sure Christians were once.
She was charged officially with vandalism, I believe it was. And then her lawyer used the excuse on a judge who I'm sure was already willing to let her go. Mm-hmm. Because, Satanists bad. And this is a judge in Florida.
What?
The excuse was that she was only following her religious beliefs, and basically as a good Christian soldier, basically it was her duty to stop the word of Satan. So she was only following her own religious beliefs, and therefore it was not vandalism to hurt someone else's property.
Did it worked?
And she was let off, of course. Jesus. Yeah, sorry, just had to throw that one in there. Because Florida.
Because America.
Because no separation of church and state. Still property, regardless of your
It's
belief.
still stolen property. She was still
Yeah.
trying to damage and or steal someone else's property.
Here's
That
the
is
thing.
vandalism or theft.
I, again, respect people's religious beliefs. I, however, am atheist, agnostic. It goes back and forth depending on the point in my life I'm in.
What I call myself is I am an agnostic atheist.
Yeah, that's a good term. I like that. I'm open to the possibility of there being something, but I don't.
But I need scientifically verifiable proof before I'll accept it.
I consider myself to be open-minded, and I want people to be able to pursue their religious beliefs. That being said, Nomi posted a really good infographic earlier today that was how to tell if your religious beliefs are being stymied or whatever. Yeah. And it was, if you're not allowed to worship your God in the privacy of your own home, your religious beliefs are being crushed. If you don't want other people to worship their God in their own home, your religious beliefs not being crushed. Yeah. If you want to be able to get married and people are stopping you from being able to do it in a publicly owned place or in your church, your religious beliefs are being oppressed. Thank you. Yeah. If two other people want to get married and you don't believe with it or agree with it, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with you and will not affect you in any way, your religious beliefs are not being oppressed. Like, it's a really good little chart. I get tired of people saying that other. Anyways, I'm done.
Whatever, Nikki. Your lesbian propaganda, I just can't handle.
I really want to get a day planner, and I want it to be rainbow, and then in black text, maybe Comic Sans just for the obnoxious effect. I want to put gay agenda on it.
No.
And then leave it places, and then be like, oh shit,
Nikki,
sorry.
Nikki.
Yeah, go.
It can't just be just Comic Sans. It has to be gay in Comic Sans, preferably arced into a rainbow.
Yes, okay. I like where you're going.
And agenda in papyrus.
See, but I was thinking the matching fonts would bring a little bit of continuity to it.
Okay,
I don't like overusing the different fonts. That's an awfully small space.
Even better. Gay agenda in a rainbow.
Yeah.
Possibly even just one rainbow with both words.
Okay.
Arched into the rainbow and black text on the rainbow. But on the side, have it be in papyrus with, because papyrus is generally considered a very soothing font. Mm-hmm. Except for to Dustin.
He's convulsing in the corner, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to get one of those. And I looked on the internet. They don't exist. There are some really shitty ones on Cafe Press, but I think I might have to design one because I want one.
And then unicorn clip art.
Yeah, and just have shit like that in it, but then use it as an actual agenda, for my classes and shit.
Right.
Because that would be useful. But then if I accidentally left it in class, I could totally act like I left my gay agenda someplace. Oh my god, you guys, I have to go find it before some straight people do. And it would just be really, really fucking funny to me. I can't believe this is a product that doesn't really exist yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
So let's leave it on the gay agenda, I guess.
Yeah. Let's leave it there. Deadpool's email Nikki. NikkiNerdEffect.com.
Also, if you want to make me a gay agenda and send it to me, let me know. I have a P.O. box.
You can always put that out there. Why not?
What? I don't remember it.
You don't remember your own P.O. box?
I have it written down in my wallet.
It's like P.O. Box Digits, Boise, Idaho.
Your face is digits. There's an address too. You don't know how P.O. boxes work. Do you have one?
I do not.
I don't think I have it anymore.
Uh-oh.
Problem.
Well, shit. It's available on the internet, though, when you look up my business name registration. It shows my P.O. box. Yay! I can't find a thing that I know that I have.
Because your wallet is a mess.
You're a mess! Shut up!
Also, if you're looking to show continued support to this podcast, by all means, please visit Amazon.com through the link on our website.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We love you long time. Thanks, Libby.
Yeah, thanks, Libby. Please buy more weird stuff.
We see what you buy.
Now you just made everybody not want to use it.
Well, okay, here's the thing. We don't see who buys it.
Bought it.
The only reason we know it was Libby is because she told me she bought some weird shit. And so we figured out who it was going to. Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah, you want to buy that 50-gallon barrel of lube? By all means, go for it. We don't know it was you.
However, Copel, I know the yak was you. Don't deny it.
What?
The what?
Yak.
You bought a yak?
It's a joke. Don't worry about it. Copel will get it.
I wonder what the commission is on that.
Can you imagine the shipping charge for buying a yak?
I know. Well, you can't Prime, so it's free.
Well, yeah.
That's some prime yaks. All right, anyway. For Nerd Effect News, we have been
Malcolm Morgan,
Mason Ireland,
Nikki Multiple Rants Prindle,
and I am Dustin Vancouver, and we'll catch you guys next time.